You've got some more pictures here, Cal. Let's take a look at some more here. What is this?
This is just a field of beans. In this case, they're I forget, not chickpeas, but another kind of a bean that is very popular and they like there. This is the actual harvesting of corn by machines for the first time. These pickers, we got them $300–400 each. They're worth about $10,000 over there. And they'll pick a row of corn. And we don't waste anything when we take those trees down, by the way. We make lumber out of whatever we can.
So you got a mill for making lumber?
No, we use chainsaws.
You do those planks with chainsaws?
Yeah, it's really quite efficient too. Huh. And of course, the rest of it is turned into charcoal, which is their main cooking energy. And so we don't waste anything.
I remember, Cal, when you were 25 years at Crossroads, and you oversaw the missions program of Crossroads, the Jeffrey R. Conway School of Broadcasting. You were very, very involved internationally. But I remember at the same time, when you would do your commentary every day, 6 times out of 10, you talk about farming. You talk about chickens, you know, and we had pictures of you, you know, in your overalls and your plaid shirts looking after the animals. In many ways, you've become a super farmer. I mean, really, when you think about all of the plots of land that you have developed and all the people being fed by it, are you astonished?
Yes. My great astonishment was that God had given me I don't know what to call it, not a vision, but He spoke to my heart as I was flying to Sudan one time, a few years ago, and spoke to my heart and said, I want you to build 52,000-acre farms. And I kind of checking myself, am I hearing right? Is that really God? And by the time I landed in Entebbe, ready to go up to Sudan, I was convinced that this was what the Lord wanted, but I never thought through the logistics of it all. And it was only about 9 months later that we were given by lease 100,000 acres plus, with a lake in the middle of it, a lake that's never been known to go dry, not a big lake, but a lake. And we're going to put fruit production around that because that needs more constant watering. We have 2 rainy seasons, and we're developing these farms as fast as we can. Those bulldozers can clear 10 acres a day each, and then they have the rippers on the back to rip out the roots, and then they clear them and then turn them into either lumber or charcoal and burn the trash. And we're leaving great wide green strips between each one for ecological reasons, and also to give room for smaller farmers whom we're helping. And this is one of our emphases, is to help small farmers who've only got 1 or 2 acres for a large family sometimes, to increase to 20 or 25 acres. And one man particularly stands out in my mind. 5 years ago, he was living in absolute abject poverty. We increased his land from 1.5 to 20 acres. And now, 5 years later, he's sending his oldest son to university. And he was in abject poverty. And we're working toward a goal of helping 1,600 of these kinds of families.
When you're talking 100,000 acres, you're talking major farming here.
160 some sections, I think it is equal to.
Will this take on a commercial aspect? Like, will you be able to buy and sell a product and add to the economy of the region, or what do you plan?
I'm convinced that this will be more important to the economy than oil. And 85% of the oil in all of North Sudan and now the Republic of South Sudan, 85% is under the South. But I believe their agriculture is going to be much more important and much more developed than, and ours is the largest single agricultural development in all of South Sudan. And I'm really believing that by the end of this year, the income from the crops we grow this year and have just finished growing last year will be covering all of our operational costs, so that we won't have to invest money in people's salaries and seed and fertilizer and those kind of things. That will happen from the product. Then I'll be able to concentrate in expanding into these hundreds of acres, thousands of acres, thousands.
Really, I mean, thousands, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands of acres.
An interesting aspect, of course, to your work is you do everything in the name of the Lord. We've got about 2 minutes left. What is the relationship between, actually 1 minute left, the farming enterprise and the churches?
The churches are fully behind us. In fact, I'm building a big church, 350 to 500 people right at the compound. And the church is behind it fully 100%. And the people I'm working with, all of the leaders on the ground, are born-again Christians and very fine people. The managing director himself, who used to be the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of the Central State, is now, he said, wanting to do something significant for his people, and he is now as as managing director of the Savannah Farmers Cooperative, which is a legal entity there.
Wow. Just in case you're wondering about Cal's writing, friends, he's also writing, and here's just the cover of his newest book, Reflections, published by Castle Key. It's just coming out in a few months, and you'll want to look for that in your local bookstore. And get up to date with Colonel Sanders. or Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers. Burl Ives.
Burl Ives.
I've been called all of those.
Cal Bombay, you're an inspiration. 75 years young. What an amazing guy. We'll be back with more right after this, friends.